to U Invitational 2021 Poetry. In the poems Healing Humanity by Natalie Patterson, I'm Not Okay by Taz Elam, and Jared Singer's A Letter to Sarah, we find that life can take an unexpected turn. Just like that. Life is complex. You should know that up front. There will be tears and hurt and joy and pain, so much love and magic and heartbreak. Did I mention? Life is kind of weird. It is this cacophony of people and things, ideas and promises we meant to keep. Think of it like a symphony. We each are members of this perfect sound, but independent, the song just ain't the same. Like Drake without the corny dancing. Okay, that's a terrible example, but you get what I mean. We are a symphony, having a part to play, and should we give it our all, we get to bask in the goosebumps, settle into the magic. And speaking of magic, this is the best part. But it's tricky though, because magic is this illusion, right? This crazy blend of intoxicating allure and hard work. Sometimes you'll feel like a prop, feel like an unfinished task. But should we execute masterfully, we get to understand the bigger picture. You get to stand center stage while the world claps. And that feels fantastic, even if the world isn't actually clapping after all, let me tell you. Picture yourself in the face of your next heartbreak, but equipped with the knowledge that it all works out. Would you still feel as devastated? Looking back, I wish I would have known how good my life was going to get, how each hurt prepared me for the next best version of myself. I would have seen rejection as God's protection and let that fool go with greater ease. Your perspective is your saving grace. Praise your spirit against your faith and promise yourself that something more is coming. This is how we heal. Do not sulk, do not give up, do not invest your energy in people who do not value you. Your duty is to place yourself in the best case scenario, but not on some creepy capitalist crabs in a barrel tip, but by proving that you are worthy of magnificence, even when your faith is wavering. And I mean faith like only visualizing positive outcomes, like praying to your God prayers of thanks even when nothing is working because you know something will. Faith like not losing hope for recovery, like staying the course. And when we do all this work, this hard to define work of not letting the past determine our future, we heal. And when we heal individually, so do we collectively. And on the opposite side of pain, we find love. We find joy in the laughter of children. We find balance because we did the work. And it ain't easy, my friend. Healing isn't easy. But it may be the best thing you ever do for yourself and for humanity. For as long as I can remember, I've always had this void in my life. It's this empty feeling deep inside of you that you can't quite shake no matter how hard you try. It sort of consumes and eats away at you. You'll have great happy moments, and then just when you thought everything was fine, surprise! The feeling always comes back. It's just a matter of time. The constant frustration to fill the void, something to ease the pain. What's the cause? Nobody knows. Yet you feel the same sad emptiness every single day. It leaves me feeling so down and empty, like I'm missing something, somehow, something that's a big part of me. And once I have it, I'll be happy. I just need that one thing, this missing key, and when I get my hands on it, I'll be complete. I've tried everything. Friends, education, material stuff. But no matter how hard I try, it never seems to be enough. It sucks, and I know people will say that you just need to be positive, or the solution to all your problems is self-love. But it's not as simple as that. Not when you've got to the point where you just feel numb. I so badly want to fill my heart with so much happiness that it takes all the pain away. My childhood was so dark and angry that I always thought in my adult life, things would change. Somehow I would no longer feel the same. And I don't. Things aren't as extreme, but there's no denying that the feeling is always there, and it's something I can't explain. I just wish it would go away. I always thought when I grew up, things would be different. I just thought it would be different. You look at other people and they always look so happy. You know, you observe people's lives, whether that be in person, social media, TV, and it seems to come to them so naturally. And I know all this stuff can be misleading, but when you've got to the point where you just feel so down and empty, you can't help but think, why can't that be me? Because you want that, you so desperately want that, and you feel like you're doing the right things. You know, you're having fun with your friends, having late night chats, dancing to silly music, and in the moment it feels great. You're in a good, happy place. But that happy feeling always goes away. And the sad emptiness kicks in again. Do I sound crazy? Oh God, I think I sound crazy. These thoughts tend to hit me late at night, and that's when I write. Sometimes I'm so overcome with emotion that I just cry, and I don't know why. It makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. It's so sad to admit that it becomes easier to lie and act like everything's fine. So that's what I say. I'm fine. The events from my past life still affect my adult life. I lash out, feel down out of nowhere, and I can't explain why. It just gets so messed up in my head sometimes, and there's no way to escape it. Not when it's all happening in your mind. And so you just beat yourself up until you feel so small. You know, you could be in a room full of people and still feel so alone. I can put on an act and pretend that I'm tough, but deep down I'm never quite brave enough. Sometimes I feel so small that I feel like all I have left are my words to keep my sense of control. These poems, they're like my therapy, you know, a place where I can release and pour out my soul in hopes that it will make it better and somehow fill this empty hole. One day, it'll get better. I'll be able to look back at what happened and not feel so sore, because there's no cure, no way to fix it. It's just something you learn to live with, but it will get easier. Of that, I'm sure. You're not the demons in your mind. You are not the hurt you feel on the inside. You're stronger than that. Understand that these things take time and that they're temporary. So chin up, breathe, allow yourself to feel everything that feel. Give it some time and you'll heal. When contemplating superpowers, if I could regenerate any damage done to my body, I would double backflip, belly flop off the tallest building I could find. I would make you watch. Wouldn't tell you it will hurt me as my body hits the ground, turns bone to dust. When the blood splatters across your face, there will be a moment where your heart stops, where your belly drops out of your everything. I would calmly walk over to you and say, yeah, ever since you killed yourself, it's been like that for all of us, all the time. If I could fly, I would take you so high, so fast you would be petrified. Wind resistance alone would rip you out of my arms. Don't worry, I would hold on to you with a strength born of fear and longing. When your vision goes black, I will whisper, if you'd only told us something was wrong, we could have held you, told we loved you, we could have helped. I would stop. As the oxygen rushes back into your brain, everything would come into focus. I would tell you, yeah, you always made sure we saw the glory in front of us. If I could read people's minds, I would not invade your privacy. Instead, I would eavesdrop on every passerby, tattoo my arms with all the nice things. Every wow, she's good looking. Every I wish I was that confident. Meeting your ex-lovers would turn my body into a masterpiece. Record everything they had to say. Every how could I have ever let her get away? Every she was the best thing that ever happened to me. My legs would turn into a patchwork with hatch marks for every time I wished you were still with me. It would not take a full day to cover my body in all the nice things people didn't think you needed to hear. If I could travel through time, I would go back to the moment before you wrote a suicide letter that started, "Dear Jared." I'm doing this now because I know out of all my friends, you will be the one to take this. What made you think I was strong enough to take this? I would go back to the moment before it was too late, before you became the reason I don't read letters without having someone else proofread them first. If I could project my thoughts in people's minds, even knowing it could never have saved you, but maybe it could have saved me, you would never have doubted, even for an instant, that you were loved. Thank you.